think brought you back to that place, that childlike place, to really find your true authentic self?
I think I got tired of being sick and tired, man.
Mm,
And I looked at the board and I said, what am I doing? And if what I'm doing is the result of how I'm feeling, well, then we need to go back to formula. Something's
yes.
wrong. This is the equation I'm running in life and thinking that this is right, but I'm not feeling the way I want to. I'm doing all these things, but I'm getting no validation or rather no appreciation from it. I'm not feeling great from eating these foods and hanging out with these people. I'm telling you, man, one of the hardest things we deal with as humans, Josh, is trying to convince our minds of something that our hearts know to be a lie, straight up. And I had decades of doing that. And I had to reconstruct in my thoughts, like, all right, where's the problem? Where's the problem? And I went all the way back to being a little boy,
Yeah.
from family kind of talking to me about how I was. And I was so personable and energetic and I loved to do things. And it was actually my godmother, my Aunt Elsa, one of the coolest chicks in the world, freaking nurse at San Quentin for like 20 something years. She's badass, man. That's my godmother. And she was like, you were so amazing as a little boy. You were such a blossoming light and flower. And when you were interested in ballet, which I was, I loved dance and performing arts as a kid. But someone close to me in my family, when I came home after going to a ballet class, found out about it. And he said, we're not going to have any faggots in this house.
Wow.
And I was just a kid. I was like 6 or 7 or 8. I forget how old I was. I was less than 10. I didn't know it at the time, but my aunt saw that conversation take place and she told me she just saw me shut down.
Yep.
Like saw the light just close. Granted, to the naked eye, I was just like, oh, okay. And like, you go on. But I was so excited. I was so passionate about it. And to have that caved like that, she said, I just watched you go dark as
Yeah.
a kid. And she's like, and you kind of never changed from that. You grew and did other things, etc. But like the fragility of children and as in who we are then, the innocence, lack of development of the medulla to where we're so fearless and just able to do things without question, in the right way because it's our intuition, it's our curiosity leading us. Mine got shut down at a really young age. And it took her telling me this in the later years, in my 30s, and for me to go, wow, that's a big moment. And it was kind of like my eureka moment to begin what I've since gotten into, neck
Yeah.
deep.
That's it's very deep because we all have that. Every single human, I believe, has some type of story like that, whether they can remember it or not. I'm not sure if you remember the conversation or it had to be brought up to you and then you were able to see,
Yep.
so this is a
Yep.
belief that was put on me and never quite able to shake it. And then you were able to go back and kind of change that belief about yourself.
Totally. I don't remember the conversation. She told it to me so vividly,
Yeah.
for someone that loves me, cares for me. Obviously, she remembered the moment very, very, very well.
Yeah.
And as I was listening to her tell the conversation, it was like I was remembering through her words, through her storytelling, right? Like
Yeah.
viscerally.
You can visualize it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I could see the person saying it. I could see me just be like, "Oh, okay," and running off, and then thinking like later parts in my life where I kind of just went with the crowd, or if someone said, "No, man, don't do that," I was like, "Okay," and just
Yeah.
I kind of shut down, even though I thought it was super cool. Like it was something I wanted to do. Like I remember in high school, I went to go sign up for ROTC because I was like, Marines are cool, military's cool, like this is awesome, and I was in 8th grade and getting ready to start high school, and I was literally had signed up, and this guy that I barely knew walked past me. He's like, "What are you doing, man?" I was like, "I'm signing up for ROTC. It's cool." And he's like, "Dude, don't do that. It's a bunch of fucking losers." And I was like, "Okay." And like, I didn't do it on that alone. And there were several other things like that. There were kind of like pivotal moments where I caved to other people and like listened to them rather than listening to my gut, to myself,
Yeah.
to my passions, to my interests, And then
Yeah.
I was able to see that throughout a lifeline. It was crazy to trace it all the way back to this one moment when I wanted to take ballet and thought it was cool and amazing as a child. And then how that ripples into a lifetime's worth of other decisions or not acting on your gut.
Yeah. And you're choosing kind of the attachment to friends or the attachment to being cool, the attachment to being a great person, whatever the case may be, as opposed to being authentic to yourself.
Being
Yes.
honest, being who you are, being happy with that, being proud of that. I was so fixated on people's perceptions and what are they going to say? And like, can I fit in with these people? And am I going to be cool enough? I had such a self-conscious doubt. Like I had doubt about my self-conscious,
Yeah.
like who am I? What was my self-esteem? I was so critical of other people's perception of me that I was like trying to mold myself to fit their narratives better, to be more appealing, to be more
Yeah.
likable, as opposed to like now, thank God, and how much I love myself and how I am and just being
Yeah.
happy. It's like, dude, it's always been about just being yourself, man. Like that's what makes you you. That's what makes you appealing. That's what makes you interesting. I mean, all of us to fit their narratives is would make the world boring,
Yeah.
monotonous, monochromatic. Like a buddy of mine told me this quote from his grandfather years ago. He's an old world guy, grew up in West Texas in the 20s and the 30s, and was just man, salt of the earth kind of man. And he's like, yeah, he left left me this book, and in the book it said, "Remember, Donnie, it takes all the people to make a world." And I was just like, that sounds like something not a baby boomer, but greatest generation kind of guy would say, leave you with that. And I was like, damn, I love that, but it's true.
It is.
And that's all about authenticity.
Yeah, 100%. And you said something big there, building your self-esteem. When it comes to building your self-esteem, everything counts in your life that you do. Everything counts.